All right, so you've run the discovery phase and now you want to start working with the client, but there's one more thing that needs to be done. You need to agree on the price and then kick off the project. And so I want to quickly review what's going to happen between the discovery and closing the deal so that you can start on the actual project. Now, this is not our full-on business course. This course is focused on the design process. However, I don't want to leave you out in the dark, so I do want to quickly review everything that needs to happen between those two steps. And so we're going to cover this pretty quickly. And if you want to go more in depth, you can check out our business courses. So the steps between doing the discovery and actually closing the deal, here are the things that needs to happen. First of all, you need to actually price the project, and then you need to send them out a proposal. A lot of times between sending the proposal and then signing the proposal is some kind of a negotiation about the price, terms, and a lot of things in between. So there might be a negotiation phase. Then ideally they will sign the proposal and you'll get a down payment paid before you kick off the project and move into the next part of the process. So we're going to cover all of these things. So let's talk about pricing. Again, this is super quick overview of pricing. Because this is obviously a deep topic. So there's basically three ways that you can price a project, right? You can either set your price based on what other people are charging. So you've asked your friend, you've Googled what the average prices are. And so you're basically pricing based on somebody else's work. Or you can price based on what it actually is worth to you. And you can also price based on what the value is to the client. Now, these are actually kind of like, I would say, three steps, right? Pricing based on what other people are charging, that's usually for amateurs. Pricing based on the value, really understanding and pricing for value for the clients, this is quite an advanced thing to do. So in this video, I want to focus on how do you understand what the price is worth to you so that you can just make sure that you are making money on this project and you're happy with the price that you're getting. Maybe it's not the potentially as much as you can, but at least you're getting there and at least you're not losing money on it and you're doing stuff that's actually worth your time. So let's talk about this. How can you figure out, does it worth my time, right? So obviously you can't answer this if you don't know how long you're going to work and how many resources you're going to put into this project. So the first thing is to assess this, right? Come up with some kind of an estimate. So if you've done your discovery correctly, you basically know by this point, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What is it going to take to solve it, right? What kind of content is needed? What are the technical features? What is the technology that you're going to use for that? You already have the answers for that based on your discovery process. You also know what is if there's a deadline or something like this. Now you have basically how much work there is to do and when does it need to be done by, and you can start making these estimates. So basically this gives you everything that you need to understand how much effort is required from you. And this is where you're going to start estimating. So you'll use these things to basically price the project. And you do this by starting to create a basic table. And in that table, you're going to list out all of your efforts and you're going to try to price them, right? Some of them are going to be priced by time, meaning, research might take me 2 days and doing the site might take me 2 days. And for me, 2 days is whatever, X amount of hours that I'm working on this. Some things might be not charged by by time, but by actual money, right? If I have to hire a copywriter to work with me, or if I have to hire a photographer to do a photo shoot, that might cost X amount of money. So I'm putting all of this thing into the calculation. And when I'm estimating for my time, I basically need to know what my time is worth to me, right? How much do I want to make this month? If this is going to take me 3 months, how much do I need to make just to cover my cost, right? How much is my time worth right now? Now, if you're not sure about estimating how long things are going to take you, first, you have to guess. All right. Now, if you're going to do this project alongside this this program, you're going to work on the project. We recommend you that you track your time, so at least you'll have a benchmark of one project that you did on your own, and now you can start estimating. Okay, so if I work on this with a client, and the client is going to have feedback, and we're going to have multiple rounds of iteration, it might take a little bit more or a little bit less, and so forth. But you have some kind of a benchmark to know if this is 2 hours or 20 hours or 100 hours, right? But a lot of times as you're starting out or as you're trying to tackle problems that you haven't tackled before, you're going to have to guess. And that's okay, right? You take a guess, you add a little bit of buffer to make sure that if you think it's going to take you 5 hours, estimate at 7 hours, because you might be wrong and there might be things that you're not thinking about. And you will be wrong sometimes, but if you're tracking your time and you're keeping track of what actually happened at the end of it, you'll be better equipped to estimate next time. And as you roll and as you do more and more projects, your estimation capabilities are going to get better, and so your pricing is going to improve as you do more and more projects. So be prepared to begin with to make some mistakes, and that's okay. That's how we learn. All right, so you're going to look at the time. You're going to think, basically, what is the lowest price, that I'm willing to work for? All right, let's say I'm estimating this project at 50 hours, all right? And it's going to take me 2 months to complete this in 50 hours. Am I willing to do this for $1,000? Yes, no. Am I willing to do this for $2,000? Am I willing to do this for only $500? You have to ask yourself the toughest question. And I'm specifically saying, what is the lowest price? Because I want you to know what is your bottom line. All right, we're going to ask for more than that, but as we negotiate, you need to know what the bottom line is. Let's say you decide that the bottom line for you is $1,000. Then you know that anything below that, you basically just have to say no. Because if you're going to say yes, you're going to be very disappointed, frustrated, or not make enough money, for yourself. Now, sometimes people actually lie to themselves, right? Right? If they say, no, my lowest price is $2,000, but they end up agreeing to $1,000. I think that basically means that their true price was $1,000, and they just lied to themselves, right? If they ended up taking it at $1,000, then probably that was their lowest point. So you want to be honest with yourself, and the reason that you're doing this is because you don't want to end up frustrated. And by the way, it's okay if you're just starting out. It's okay to start with a lower price. It's okay to know that this is not. You're just, you'll only go up from here, but it's okay to start low and then go up as you can. But you want to know what your bottom line is. Now, you're going to use that and you're going to ask for more than that price. And the reason is that's going to allow you bandwidth for negotiation. Because as I said, you need to expect negotiation. That's something that this is how the game is played, right? Business is a game, and this is how the game is played. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. When I started out, I refused to play that game. So I would estimate my price, and then I would just tell them the price that I considered to be a fair price for my work. And if they didn't agree or they tried to negotiate with me, I was like, these people do not appreciate me. They don't want to pay me what I'm worth or what this project is valuable to me. So there's no way I'm going to do this because I've estimated and I know that everything lower than that is just not going to work for me. So I've put myself in a position where every kind of negotiation basically broke out the deal. And my wife always told me, hey, you need to ask for more, and then you can negotiate, because they think that you are asking for more and they expect to negotiate with you. They don't know that you've gave them the real price, right? And so because this is how the game played, and for years I didn't listen to her until I ended up reading a negotiation book which basically just stated that. Now I understand that everybody expects in the world of business to play this game, and negotiation happens. So you cannot start as your first price, you're actually your last price. You have to have a price that's higher than that to start the negotiation process from. Now the interesting question is, how high can you go? And this is a topic that is, big, because if we're talking about what the value to the client is, if we understand where the value is, we understand how far we can go. But at this point, I think that what's important to you is it's going to be based on your confidence and how far you think you're going to push. And the way that we do this is we usually start off somewhere not very high, and then we do this project, and then we see, hey, they were happy with this. They were willing to pay this price. And at the end, they even said, I enjoyed working with you, or this was worth so much more than the price. And that helps you build the confidence. So the next time you're going to raise your price. And that's a process of climbing. And you're always trying to push the bar as your confidence grows to see how far you can push it. And this is how you get to it. Of course, in the more, let's call it advanced levels, you build this confidence by understanding what the value is for them, but this is too big for the scope of this video. All right, we've understood the price. We now have a price. Now we need to package that price in a proposal and send them the proposal. So let's do a quick proposal overview. Basically, a proposal, the point of a proposal is to sum up what you have already basically agreed upon, right? So if you've done the discovery correctly, then you already told them what the solution looks like, right? And basically how long it should take and how complex it is, and basically what the price ballpark is for. So they basically know all of these different, they should know. The proposal shouldn't surprise them, right? You've already discussed all of this stuff in the discovery process. So now basically you're summing that up to have kind of a legal reminder and a summary of your agreement. So the topics that should be covered there are basically what the price is going to be, what is going to be delivered, what are the deliverable in this project, what is the timeline for the project, and if there's any more legal terms. Now, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people use like these huge legal contracts. I don't necessarily use them. For me, the proposal is basically the legal agreement, and I try to keep it short as a one-pager summary of what we have discussed. Let me show you actually a real proposal example. We'll quickly go over this. So here's a proposal for a marketing website that I've sent a couple of years ago, and this was for a client called Lucia. So basically, there's an overview of what the project is. So they're looking to upgrade their marketing website and brand to look bigger and better, create more trust and confidence, and increase signups. So this is basically describing the problem that they're trying to solve here. And then in this case, the project had two phases. So phase one is the marketing website and brand. So I'm basically describing how this is going to work. We'll start by strategizing content, blah, blah, blah. After approving the wireframes, I'm basically describing the steps in the web design process. And the deliverables in this phase are going to be new responsive website with all the pages, upgraded, updated brand assets, a design system, and so forth. And this is the schedule, around 11 weeks, and this is the fee for this project. And then there's another phase and even another phase, and an optional development phase. And then there are these basic, pretty much basic terms, right? 50% down payment before we do the work, 25% after we do the design, and then 25% after the final deliveries. The price do not include the font. There are going to be 3 rounds of iteration, include VAT. Payment is due 10 days after the invoice. And if I'm not being paid, so I own the intellectual property until the design is fully transferred upon the final payment. So if they don't pay me the last payment, I legally hold the intellectual property for the project. So this is a quick overview of a proposal. I do recommend that you ask, you consult with your accountant or a lawyer, wherever it is that you're operating. Legal, taxes, all that kind of stuff is a little bit different between places. Where I live and work, basically just sending this in an email to them and getting a reply that states agreed is enough to hold them accountable legally. But I do recommend that you check with the lawyer. What does it require to make this legally binding agreement? So you've sent them the proposal. They might be coming back to negotiate. And we talked about this earlier with the story that I shared, but I want to say a few words about negotiation. So the key in negotiation is to have both sides feel like they are winning, right? And I've mentioned this before. if I ask for more money and then they ask for a discount, I give them the discount, they feel like they won, I am still above the price that I wanted, so I win. So we both are actually winning. Maybe they don't know that we are both winning, but we are both winning. And the point of negotiation is to help everybody feel like they are winning. So you're actually helping them win by negotiating with them and sometimes making concessions. But the thing about concessions is when they ask you for a concession, let's say, can you do this faster or can you reduce the price? You always want to have a discussion about, all right, if I'm going to give you that, let's say if you need the price to be reduced, what can we reduce from the scope of the project, or what else can we do? Because obviously, if this is the fair price and you're asking for a lower price, something needs to be adjusted. I can't do this at an unfair price. So let's think about this together and consider the negotiation as kind of like a brainstorm together. This is not you against them. Try to work together with them to come up with a solution, and you can even ask them, all right, so you want me to lower my price. What else can we change to make this feasible for me? Can we reduce some of the content and still solve your problem? Can we perhaps delay the deadline, and then I'll have, I'll do some more project and they'll be help me, make as much money as I need to. Or there's a lot of things that can be negotiated, and the price is not the only thing that you negotiate, right? There's the scope, there's the deadline, and there's all kinds of other things. Can you negotiate for a testimonial? Can you negotiate for, having them record a video about how great it was to work with you? Can you negotiate for whatever, they connecting you with other relevant business owners? There's a lot of things, so be creative about this, right? And it's really, really important to not take this personally, right? They are a business working with you as a business owner, and this is plainly just business. Of course, don't let people mistreat you, but you also need to not take this personally, right? This is just business. They are trying to optimize the deal that they are getting. Pretty much, if you think about yourself going to make a big investment like buying a house or something like this, when you put a lot of money there, you want to make sure that you're getting a good deal, and you're concerned about all the money that you're spending. So when you're spending the money, trust me, you have the same concerns as they have. So be empathetic about this. Remember, this is just business, and try to work with them collaboratively to find a solution that worked for the best of you, for the both of you. Now, the last thing about this is we are naturally, and more specifically as designers, we're not really comfortable talking about money. And sometimes the business owners we'll be negotiating with, this is what they do for a living. So they're really good at negotiating, pushing, and trying to get the best deal possible. So and this kind of a tension, there's a tension there. And I know for myself personally, I'm kind of like conflict averse. I try to avoid conflict. So when I'm in this tense mood, I want to get out as soon as possible, right? So I just want, okay, whatever you want, let's just move on to the fun part of actually doing the web design and everything. But the more that you can stay in this uncomfortable zone of talking about money, the better the deal that you can get. So you need to breathe, and you need to say, this is uncomfortable. I know, I acknowledge the fact that I feel uncomfortable right now, but I'm going to stay for a few more days in this uncomfortable zone to make sure that for the next few months that we work together, we're actually both going to be happy about the deal that we just signed here. So stay with that uncomfortable zone for a little longer so that you can end up as a happy person. All right, the last thing that I want to say here is that you always want to make sure that you get a down payment before you start working on a project. Before you actually start doing the work, make sure that you're getting paid. This is very, very important. First of all, it gets them committed, okay? When somebody invests, puts their money, imagine the client, they put already some money on the table, they're now invested. Now they want to make sure this project is successful. Otherwise, and that's something a lot of beginners do, is they first do the work and then they get paid at the end. And when that happens, the client subconsciously, not on purpose, but they're like, I didn't pay this person yet. Let's see how they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. And if I'm not happy with it, maybe I don't have to pay them or something like this. But once they already paid, Now they want to make sure that you succeed. They don't want to fail. They're not going to wait to see if you're going to fail. They're actually going to work with you. They're going to help you. They're going to give you all the information. They're going to give you their attention because they want to make sure this project succeeds. So this is really important in getting them to be invested. This also highly decreases the chances of you not getting paid, right? You're already in their systems. You saw that they have money in the bank. They're not just talking because you got paid. So, and even if something happens, at least you got some of the money, in the bank already. So this is really important, and you should know, this is just how professional works. This is not something, cheeky or rude to ask for. This is how professionals work, and asking for that and demanding that as a core thing that needs to happen before you get to work will set you up and position you as a professional to them, so they will also have higher expectations and regard you as a true professional. As I've said in the beginning, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to handling the business side of web design. If you're interested in learning more, check out our full-on business courses. Otherwise, let's move on to the web design.